Hello everybody, it's me, Hydro King, and welcome to technically my first video on this YouTube channel. And today, we're going to be talking about a what if I had created. And that is, what if Penelope joined the Sly Cooper gang early? Now for this video, / what if, I will be going over exactly what the title says. What if Penelope joined the Sly Cooper gang early? Now, for a little bit of backstory before we get into this, is that I've always thought, hey, if I'm going to start making a what if video, and a bunch of more on this channel, why not create this one? I feel like it's an interesting take, and something as a Sly Cooper fan would want to do. Now, some of you might be asking, Hydro King, why are you covering this topic for those who are familiar with the Sly Cooper series or are new to it? Well, it's because of what happened in the 4th game. By the way, spoilers for Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. Go to this timestamp to skip if you don't want none of those spoilers. Penelope turns out to be a villain. She turns bad. She turns evil. When I first saw this, and a lot of other people, needless to say, we did not like it. I do not like it. It's one of those plot twists and storylines that I just thought, why? That's stupid. Why would you want to do this to a character that we have just been introduced to in the 3rd game, and when they come back in the 4th game, it turns out to be this? So that is why I wanted to create this what if. This what if is a sort of what if and a rewrite of the story, how I would interpret it, and such. But hey, with that being said, let's get into what if. So, we begin our story like any other story. It follows similar to the 1st game. You know, Sly Cooper giving his backstory and the death of his parents and the whole story of the shebang, the origins of his family and the Thievius Raccoonus. But here's where things get interesting. This is where Sly begins to talk about not only Murray and Bentley coming into his life, but also Penelope coming into his life. So, all 4 of these guys meet up in the orphanage, the same orphanage that Sly in the original timeline grew up in. And what's interesting is that Sly Cooper, the way he would describe Penelope, is the reconnaissance. She's basically like a scout. She's the brains, but also a little bit of what Sly does. So she's kind of a jack of all trades, sort of thing. Heck, that's what I would think Sly Cooper would say. That she's sort of a jack of all trades. And moving right along is that he would begin to start to say how much fun they had, all the adventures that the gang had, Penelope included, and all that jazz. Then we started to get into the first level, the very first thing at the beginning of the game of Sly Cooper 1. You know, Sly Cooper running along the rooftops of the buildings of Paris, sneaking around, seeing him only in shadow, only to see him when he's in the light. And then he jumps up and lands on a water tower. That's where he pulls out his binocular. And Bentley goes, "Sly! Sly! Can you read me? Sly!" I read you, Bentley. Jeez, you don't have to be so loud. Well, sorry. It's just, I'm a little nervous. With this being your first mission and all, and getting the part of the thievius raccoonus back. Don't worry. I've been training for this my whole life. How hard can it be? Well, excuse me. Anyway. Sly, do you see those blue lights? Yeah, I see them. Well, if you press the circle button near them, you're able to perform your super sneaky moves and all your thief techniques. So, press the circle button when I see the blue lights. Got it. And you know how it goes. With the one exception being Sly. You really should be careful. Penelope, you don't tell me you're worried too. Well, of course I'm worried. I know how you are. Well, I wouldn't say you know everything about me. Oh, just whatever. Just be safe. And of course, this again follows up with Sly Cooper, of course, avoiding Carmelita Fox and all that. And of course, giving us a bit more backstory on the whole setting of the game. But don't worry, we still have more to cover. So, with that being said, you were probably asking, Hydro Cape, why are you going in this order? Well, I figured I'd go in the route of explain the backstory first, and the whole origins of the Cooper gang and all that, and talk about the first level, just so that it keeps everything chronological, I mean. Now, with how I would imagine this version of the game being is that, of course, you would get the standard levels with Sly and Murray. But, of course, the major difference would be Penelope, as she would be a person who is more braver than Bentley, and is willing to go on missions like this. Heck, you could have it to be where it's Sly's turn to help Murray, or Penelope's turn to help Murray. I would set up a way where you have a choice. Do you want to play as Sly, or Benton, or Penelope? That's how I would go about this version of the game. Heck, in the Murray Racing challenges, I would have it to be where you can pick up a special power-up with Penelope's symbol. And with that, you can have it to where she has an RC car or plane come by and take out the enemy racers, giving more options to Murray to win the race. That's how I would go. And of course, the story and gameplay of Sly Cooper from there on doesn't really change much. Yeah. And listen, guys, Sly Cooper 1, it's a good game, but it mainly focuses on gameplay. As, while it does shed some light on the characters, well, they're kind of not the focus. If anything, this is completely Sly Cooper's story and game, as a lot of the narrative comes from him. And it's focusing a lot on getting revenge and getting back to Thievius Raccoonus. Although with that being said, one section of the game I would like to touch upon is the final level, the end, where I can definitely see near the end when Sly Cooper goes into the chamber with Carmelita. You know, Clockwork does the whole ha ha ha, you fool, you have fallen into my trap moment. This could be where Penelope helps Bentley in this case, and it's not just Bentley hacking into the systems alone. There is a buddy with you. And of course, again, I would have an option to be where it's like, do you want to play it one player or two players? Sort of like a little co-op mode in this case, but only for this level. And it would definitely be something, alright? Seeing Clockwork battling not only Bentley's little virtual avatar, but Penelope's as well. I would definitely make it challenging, especially for the second player, if it's a two-player mode. Then of course we get the whole thing of like, why Clockwork is doing all of this, and you know, the whole shebang, the final fight, and everything like that. And of course, we get that final moment when Sly Cooper finally beats Clockwork. And he basically goes over every single adventure that he's had up until this point. Finally relaxing, knowing that Clockwork has been defeated, and that he finally restored his family name and got the Thievius Raccoonus back. And this is where the music comes up. You know, that finally ending segment. And basically, Sly sort of explained, like, what his gang has been through. And he would say something like this. I couldn't have done it without my friends. Bentley. He's been the brains of the group. But he's really been sticking out there for me. Solving things and even saving my butt back there. Murray. It took a lot of guts for him to be out on the field. He's a lot braver than he thinks. And he's been willing to take on these more daring challenges. And of course, how can we forget Penelope? While she is also the brains of the group, she kind of does a lot of what we do. Except for the whole muscle thing. Yeah. But what's important is her gadgets really helped us out. Especially her RC car airplane. And this is where it basically wraps up. And of course, how could we forget? Sly and Carmelita sharing a moment. You know the scene. Heck, I'll play this short little clip. Hopefully YouTube doesn't demonetize me. Anyway, and with that, roll credits. So yeah, with that being said, guys, this wraps up part 1 of Sly Cooper What If. What if Penelope joined the Cooper gang early? Well guys, hopefully you liked this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And sorry to all those who are actually a fan of this series of games. It's just that it's the truth. In Sly Cooper 1, there's really not much of a story other than what we have in canon. And of course, the only difference is that Penelope's helping out. And of course, would add much more needed flavor and commentary to the whole thing. But don't worry, guys. Stick around for the other parts. I got some major plans for those. Anyways, with that being said, this is Hydro King signing out.